And welcome in-game live prime time on this terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel joined by Dave Sharapan here in a couple of moments as we take you over the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and more importantly, betting on the world of sports. Ah, yes, it's a beautiful thing. NCAA tournament action, NIT tournament action. How about that? Who knew? NBA, NHL. We got same-game parlays. We got black clouds, and we got breaking news. And not so much breaking, but within the last hour anyway. Hold on to those tickets. Don't quite fill out that NCAA bracket just yet, as one of the better teams just lost its best player for the entire tournament. How about that? We'll get to that along the way with our good buddy, Mr. Sharapan. What's going on, Dave? How are you tonight, my friend?
Good to see you. I'm great. I did not hear this news yet. I'm glad you're breaking it. I'm glad Matty G's making sure that we got pictures and things to talk about. This is one of those things when you said the best player on a team, is this something that we might need to adjust the number for? We might need to adjust the odds for? Is this really, really big information?
Kevin McCullers for Kansas out.
Oh.
Rest of the tournament, not just first round, second round. He's their leading scorer. We saw what Kansas looked like against Cincinnati, right, in the Big 12 tournament. They were embarrassed. Now, the other guy that sat out is going to be back, Hunter Dickinson. So he's back, but one out of the two, they might be able to get by Samford. But I don't know if they're going to go much further than that because, I tell you, Dave, when we looked at the game before the Cincinnati game, we said it. They only have 3 guys that average double figures, Kansas. They only have 5 guys that average 5 points or more. I mean, Topeka High has more guys averaging 5 points than Kansas does, for goodness sakes. And now you've lost the main one. Samford is 7.5 point favorite. I think it was 8.5. I don't think it was 9.5. Maybe you know better than I on that. I don't know if the line dropped that much. But Bill Self, the head coach, made the announcement about 45 minutes ago that McCullough is out for the rest of the season.
All right, let me see. We're going to take a quick look. So the lines in game 1 against Samford is still 7, pretty much everywhere you look. Totals 153. I would think that it's starting to move right now. Maybe everybody's watching the show. They're betting the under. It's starting to drop in places here in Vegas. 152.5, 152. That's the natural inclination. That's where the razor blades come at you first. Maybe not the side they play the total when they know the best scorer is out. Now we see it in the NBA every night, K-Dub, and there's NBA games tonight. Despite the fact that nobody's really talking about them, we'll talk about them here. But Scott, I don't know. Kansas wasn't like one of the darlings going in, Scott. This is not one of those things that I think we need to adjust much. There was a lot of talk about Kansas.
It is kind of comical, but games at home. Now they don't have to face Kansas. I mean, how are they going to screw up this year? But they will. They will. But their road, you look at that region. That region's a joke versus the region UConn, which is supposed to be the best team in the nation. Their region is loaded, and this region is filled with a bunch of nobodies outside of Kentucky. And like I said, two of the bigger chokers in college basketball.
Yeah, the boys did a great job with these graphics, and you can see right there with the Midwest bracket. I mean, it is Purdue basically a walk to the Sweet 16, right? I mean, they got the playing game, Montana State, Grambling State, and the winner of the Utah State TCU game, which has the 9 seed favored over the 8 seed. And again, I don't think either one of those teams challenges them. So what do you think? If it's not the 4,
you would have bet Purdue?
Would you bet
Purdue to get to the Final Four? I mean, can we possibly do that? I mean, I can't. I just can't.
You can't do it?
I can't do it. I think I can't even do Rick Barnes either. I don't know. If I had to pick one, I don't know which one I would pick, to tell you the truth. I think Kentucky's going.
Oh, what are your but in that Kentucky's up in the South. Kentucky's not in that.
Oh,
of the
that's
3,
not even in that region,
right?
Oh, I thought it was Kentucky was in that region.
No, it's Creighton.
Oh, you're right.
Creighton
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, Creighton is the
Gonzaga,
3,
then?
so the door opens up for them. Maybe it's South Carolina. Maybe it's South
I like that
Carolina.
team.
If South Carolina gets by Oregon, they can somehow, make that game really a physical affair against Creighton, and they win that game. Then they get Tennessee, most likely. And then, I don't know. So that's where your chaos is coming from? You think that's where it's coming from?
Yeah.
That bracket, the Midwest?
That's the one. That's the one for me. Yeah. Pick your
Okay.
sleeper. You're right. I thought Kentucky was in there. My bad. Gonzaga would then have a nice little second-round matchup against a wounded Kansas team. They get to the Sweet 16. Right. South Carolina, like you said, or Creighton. Well, that's the region I would want to be in. So, big.
Are you paying attention to the NBA at all? Are you paying any attention to the NBA?
Absolutely.
I mean, we got games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The slate tonight is.
Why not?
There's a battle at Texas. It's, Dallas at San Antonio, nothing but Luka, right? Hopefully he's playing, but big number on the road. That thing is up to 9.5. Can't find any reason to take San Antonio. I don't think so, but that's the game coming up. Anything in game? You check these scores. Do you see what's happening in Orlando? Have you taken a peek? What is that? Is that right?
67-29. The Magic are leading the Charlotte Hornets late second quarter. You realize, Dave, the Orlando. If I were to give you even your great gambling mind, if I would say, which home team or what team at home is 18-4 against the spread their last 22 games, I don't know if you would pick the Orlando Magic or not. You're pretty smart. Maybe you would. But I got a feeling most gamblers would. I could give them 10 guesses, and they would never come up with the Orlando Magic.
Good number.
They are.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
I think that's a good number. I don't think they would. I think we could get them. You remember that song, Name That, or that game show, Name That Tune? How many guesses would you take to guess the team with the bet? Right? They would. I would bet over. I think 9.5 would make the number.
Yeah. And I think the over would still hit.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance.
That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in-game live, prime time right here on the grid, just underway, hour number one of our 2-hour extravaganza. We got the NCAA play-in game, all but 5 people probably watching that thing as Howard, or Wagner rather, leads Howard 52-44. I see corner of my eye here. Howard making a little bit of a run. They were down, I think, 12 at halftime. Big game in the NBA, Dave. You didn't, obviously you don't do all the shows with me. So Saturday, we have a nice 16-1 ticket on the Houston Rockets to make the play-in game. FanDuel, they fell asleep at the wheel, yeah. So it's down to 12-1 now, but it's still a pretty good bet, even at 12-1. They're only 3 back with 15 left, and their schedule is filled with a bunch of Washington Wizards like they're playing tonight, and Portland's on there. They got Utah twice. So they got to catch either Golden State or the Lakers. I got it at 16-1. It was still 12-1 this afternoon. So we're rooting on. We become big-time Houston Rocket fans. Let's go Rockets. They're up 3 at the half against Washington. You think they can make the play-in?
This is good to know. I'm glad you told me this because I might have to get some Rocket gear and root this home because the benefit of them getting there will hopefully be the Lakers will not be there. Although, if the Lakers get there, there'll be a huge bet against in the playoffs. I don't know. You went. I mean, usually you have theories for different things. The conspiracy theory would be the most watched play-in game ever would be Steph and LeBron playing. You betting the Rockets is going to mess that up. So I figured you might be on the Lakers to make the play-in game. What's the price on the Lakers to make the play-in game? You might be able to work off of that bet with the Rockets because with another win tonight and another win in their next game, your price is going to go – I mean, your price is going to be locked in better than any other time. So you might be able to sprinkle a little on the Lakers just for insurance.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I didn't really think about that, but you can actually start hedging. At a 16-1 or even a 12-1 as it was today, you're right, because it's going to come down to more than likely, it's coming down to Golden State, Lakers, and Houston for 2 of the final 3 spots. And you're right, conspiracy, no doubt. They would just be thrilled with a winner-take-all. And it would be a lot of fun, actually. LeBron and Steph, winner-take-all, play-in situation. But I'm thinking LeBron is going to want to avoid that. I don't think he wants the embarrassment of losing to Steph and being knocked out. He'd rather have the embarrassment of just not making the playoffs and just poo-poo it. You know what? Why am I going to bust my, what's? I've been carrying this team all freaking season long. AD's missing every other game. Team stinks. No trades at the trade deadline. You know what? I'm done. I got to go watch Bronny play in the summer league. So I'm thinking the Lakers are going to be the one that's going to fall apart in the end. Maybe a little hamstring injury for LeBron.
Yeah, it's not a bad theory. He scored 40 the other night and then didn't play the next game. I don't understand how you could go like he scored 40 and didn't play at all. Like just give us 18 minutes, even if it's half of what you got. Give us 18 minutes, I guess. Listen, they're trying to conserve everything they got down the stretch. I don't know. I don't see it. I think you're live with that bet. They got to win tonight, though.
Yeah.
This is one that your Rockets, they got to have it. I mean, only up 3 at halftime and get a little nervous. They need to win.
Yeah. They've won 7 of 8 and 5 in a row. So they're playing their best ball of the season. That's the other little kicker to it all. It's not like I'm just picking the Rockets out of the blue. They're playing good ball. And like I said, their schedule is kind of light. So if FanDuel offers that, folks, if you haven't gotten in already, tomorrow with those same odds, 12-1, maybe it drops to 10-1 with a win tonight. I still think that's a pretty good bet.
They got Bulls, Jazz, Trailblazers, next 3. And then at the Thunder, Jazz,
tough.
Mavericks.
Winnable.
I mean, then it gets T-Wolves, Golden State, Heat, Mavericks again. The back end we're going to have to sweat. But the last 4 games of the season are Magic, Jazz, Trailblazers, and Clippers. It's going to come down to the last 3 games.
Yeah. That Golden State game is going to be huge. That's a 2-game swing. The only, like all gambling things, there's always a caveat, right? Here's the caveat. They lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Lakers and Golden State. So they have to finish ahead of them. Yeah. They have to finish ahead of them. There's no play-in game of a play-in game. There's no wild card game. It's just straight head-to-head, and they lose both tiebreakers. So they do have to finish ahead of them.
That's why they're 16-1. The book knew that. That's the catch.
Yeah.
Now we got to finish ahead of both or one.
Well, one.
We could just beat one. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We could just beat one. That's fine. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Give us something to root for.
Yeah. All right. You want to lay 35 with Orlando tonight? 35 points. At halftime, no less. At halftime, it's 35 and a half.
32 points at halftime. 32 points at halftime.
That's the other
Charlotte.
thing. Yeah.
10-21 ATS right there in their last 31 road games. Man, Orlando's good at home. But no, I don't want to lay 30. What? What are you seeing right now? We got to lay
35 and a half.
What?
35 and a half.
Is this an Alabama football game spread against Directional State in August? Like 35 and a half?
And you know what's amazing is that, they're leading by 35. Like, a lot of times they would make that line 29, 30, 28, figuring the losing team's got to make a little bit. They're not going to lose by. But no, they're not even doing that. They're making it pick them for second half. Wow.
You like dogs.
Pelicans.
People like dogs. But I don't think 35 is enough, right? If we play it even right now, can't do it. Yeah. Let's get some callers.
Crazy.
Let's swing it to the. Did you look at the NIT? Did you look at some of these NIT games today?
I did. It's funny. When I was doing the picks and everything this morning, I got up early. Today I had a lot of energy. So I got up early, did all my work and everything. And then later on this afternoon, I start seeing all these lines. And I'm like, listen, they're not playing today. Then I realized, wait a minute, that's not NCAA games. That's NIT. And then I realized, that's today. So I thought I was all done at 3 o'clock. Had a couple hours to chill out. Then I realized, wait a minute, we got 8 NIT games tonight. So I did look. I actually liked a couple of them that are turning out okay right now. Did you? Did you watch it at all or look at it?
Oh, I'm glued to the Georgia game right now. I actually have Georgia against Xavier. I don't know. One of my favorite all-time stories in the book is when a guy came up to me picking futures on the Sunday of the first weekend. Everybody's tired, and I kept hearing him say Oxford. And I was like, sir, what are you saying? Oxford. Keep saying, I want to bet Oxford. And he pointed at the sheet, and it was Xavier. It was Xavier. So, that's forever they're known to me as Oxford because I kept repeating it back. And I said, are you sure you want Oxford? After I realized what he wanted. But I didn't want any part of Oxford today. All Georgia.
No.
That was one of the games I looked at. Big Ten game, Iowa hosting, Kansas State. What? Did you see that spread? That felt like way too many points. Felt like way too many points.
That was a big number.
Iowa against Kansas State coming up.
I did like the over. That's a big number too, 156.5 the last time I saw it. But it's two strong over teams. We all know Iowa's a strong over team, right? And then so is, believe it or not, so is Kansas State, which, you wouldn't think of that. But that is the case. Iowa, overall, 38-18 over their last 56 games. Kansas State over 21-10, their last 31 as road underdogs. So got to pay the price, 156.5, but you can't play the under.
Have you ever been on I-4 in Florida, South Florida, UCF? Big battle of I-4 apparently. Yeah, it's Interstate 4. I didn't know. I just found this out today. Yeah, big game. Big game between those. Big rivalry.
All right, talk about it. We come back.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in. This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if you're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame live. PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time, right here on the grid, 25 past the hour. Busy, and I mean busy. Tuesday night, we got everything tonight. We got NBA, we got NHL, we got college basketball, NCAA, NIT. We got Black Clouds, and we got same-game parlays. How about that? A lot to choose from, certainly tonight. I'm going to go to the NBA day with my same-game parlay for tonight. I think this is an overplay with the boys in Vegas. So We're going to look at the Denver Nuggets at the Minnesota Teacups, and Minnesota at home getting 7.5. Now, I understand why. First of all, it's the champs. I get that. And it is the third game for Minnesota in 4 nights, including last night when they were in Utah, finishing off a home-and-home sweep of the Jazz. So I'm guessing that's why that line is that high. But, I think the boys in Vegas put too much into that sometimes. It's not like they traveled. They stayed in Utah. So it's really not that big a deal. I'll take the 7.5, and I'll take my chances at home, getting that monster number. They'll at least cover the spread. Going to go with Anthony Edwards, 25 or more points. He's had that in 10 of his last 13 games. No reason, including 4 in a row. No reason to think that he won't get that tonight. We'll go with Jamal Murray, getting 20 points for Denver, minus 130. He's hit that number 7 of his last 11 games. 7-4, not bad. I don't think Minnesota's going to have the defensive legs that they normally would have, so I think this will be a higher scoring game. And then I'll go with the Joker, 10 rebounds, minus 330, which is just criminal. But he has had 10 rebounds or more in 11 of his last 13 games, 11-2. So chances are pretty good he's going to get that. So add it all up, not a monster payoff, almost 6-1 on FanDuel when I put it in this afternoon. Minnesota covers, Edwards 25, Murray 20 or more, and then Joker with 10 rebounds or more. Which one's going to burn?
Love what you did there with that one. I love what you did there with that one. Oh, we got the full roster today for the T-Wolves? Do we have everybody playing?
Well, I don't know about Gobert. He didn't play over the weekend. And if he didn't play in Utah,
either,
he probably won't.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he did not. He did not play yesterday. It was a huge move against the T-Wolves yesterday. They were as much as like 8.5 at Utah and ended up covering every number. So they were kind of, when we talked it through yesterday, me and Ranieri and Taylor was on, we kind of talked this one through yesterday. The handicap was if Minnesota rest those guys and cover, it's full on for this home game tonight. So there you go. The computer picked Denver by 5. That will get you home for that parlay. I think you got a really good shot. I mean, I don't know what individual prop when I just looked at it. I don't know which one beats you. Murray's been great. Jokic is definitely getting double-digit rebounds. And I think you get the points. I think it looks good. All you got to do is get the cover.
Yeah. And at 7.5, I don't think they're going to get blown out. I really don't think they're going to get blown out.
Denver's playing so good right now. Wetzel, look.
Yeah, 11-2.
Minnesota 0. Yeah. Oh, boy, Minnesota 0-5 in the last 5 games. I don't like when the team trends are all against you, but sometimes I say it all the time. The trends are your friends until they're not. Let's break this one tonight. Just cover the home game. They got a shot to win the game, no? Why can't they win the game at home?
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't be that big of a favor, right? If not for Minnesota going 3-4, the third game in 4 nights, right? Yep. That's why. Right? They're probably like 4.5, maybe 3.5, maybe. If not
surprised,
for that.
like you don't really see. It's not like Minnesota's Charlotte. Like Minnesota's one of the best, right? It can't be more than 2 buckets. The line should be 4. Yeah. But
they're battling for the number 1 spot, right, in the West.
Yes.
So
yes.
All right, college basketball. We got the one play-in game going on. We got another one coming up. Virginia and Colorado State, one of the 5 zillion Mountain West teams that was in the NCAA tournament over St. John's, Seton Hall, and Providence. But don't get me started on that. I'm going to maybe buck a trend here, a season-long trend that I've been doing all year and having a lot of success with it. And that is I kind of like the over, Dave. It's 120.5. Yeah. Really? Here's why. Colorado State has played 34 games this year. Okay. You know how many didn't have at least 121 points out of 34?
I'm going to guess how many did not. I'm going to say less than half. Single digits. That's it. I was going to guess 10.
A single is the answer. One.
That's it?
Only one Colorado State game this year has had less than 120 points. Now, I know they're not playing Virginia. I get that. But 121 points, this is not the ACC tournament where Virginia's playing teams that have played 2 or 3 times in a row. I mean, that's a low number even for Virginia. I get it. They could throw 44 at you and lose 65-44. Game goes under, but I'm thinking Virginia's got their chip on their shoulder. Everyone's saying, Dave, that they shouldn't they don't deserve to be in. And teams like to rally around that, right? So I mean that means they'll score some. So I just think that number is so low, and I actually think Virginia's got a shot at winning, but I like the over more than anything else. And I play under Virginia every single game this year, every single one. But that number and it was 119.5. And it moved up to 120.5.
Yeah.
So,
listen, this is when it starts. The books have all the information. The numbers are really hard to beat. It takes guts to come up to the counter. If you come out to Vegas, bring cash. You go up to the counter and you say, I want under 120.5. It's a lot harder to go under. All right. So you go over. Makes sense. I like under. You're not the only one that thinks Virginia has a chance. Look at this kid. We got a great graphic. Look at the kid. Producers play in pick.
Ooh, there you go.
We might have to start a segment. This is great.
PP.
Virginia Cavaliers on the money line. I mean,
not even plus the 2.5. Who needs that? Grab them on the money line, apparently.
Doesn't even need the points. Doesn't even need the 2.5. It's going to win on the money line. We had on Bostonian versus the book today. You'll remember this name, Ali Farouk Manesh. Ali Farouk Manesh. I was practicing all day to say it. He hit the shot at beat Kansas in 2010. He's now an assistant coach for Colorado State. He talked to us today after the shoot-around from the bus. It was unbelievable. I was ready to run through a wall today. I am all about the Rams. It's all North Carolina stuff, but his name is Ramses. The mascot's name for North Carolina is Ramses. I said, I don't have any green. I don't have any green and gold to wear for Colorado State today, but I'm all about the Rams tonight. I think they win the game. Ollie got me hyped up. They've been preaching this thing. He said RNME. So what does that stand for? Right now means everything. That's the way they're going into that game tonight. Right now means everything. We're going to win this thing. They wouldn't even let us in. We had to play our way into the tournament for the Mountain West. He had me fired up, I'm telling you. They're going to score. They might be good for your over. I think if Colorado State wins, the game goes over, right? They break through.
Right.
If Virginia wins, it's going to be an ugly game. First one to 60 wins. And somehow we're asking in the second hour of the show, how is the end game of this only 108.5? This might go down quick.
Yeah. It might. But here's the other thing. Colorado State hasn't played in nearly a week. So it's not like, they just played yesterday, or 2 days ago. So they got energy. These are kids. So, the Virginia good defense, these guys should be, have within themselves to be able to run around a little bit and withstand that. So I'm just thinking that we saw Virginia play lousy, right, in the ACC tournament as far as scoring goes. But, you're playing teams that play 2-3 times in a row. That was the perfect under, which, their games went over thanks to overtime. But, so, like I said, 120 points, you can get that sneezing, right? You're never really out of it, with 120 points. So.
You can get that sneezing? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean,
that's not
120. With fouling in the end. I tell you what's really going to tick me off is this doping Virginia team and their free throw shooting. They are one of the worst free throw shooting teams. They cost me so much money this weekend, Dave, by them missing free throws. One game, they were 8 of 18, and another one, I think they were like 5 of 12. I mean, they were horrific. And hence the games go to overtime. So,
got to make your free throws.
Let's hope
kids.
they don't miss the
You got to
free throws.
practice on the free throw line. We'll have Coach on later. We'll ask him about free throw shooting in this tournament. We got Kurtz coming on to talk about hockey. Did you take a glance at the hockey card today?
I did. Just a glance, though. I must say, I spent it all on the NBA and in college basketball. But I did look a pretty good slate of games here tonight, including my Bruins taking care of Ottawa so far. So, would you like anything? Yeah. Blackhawks later on tonight? Want to go for Zagusto?
Which one?
Blackhawks against the Kings?
No. You have done wonders with the Blackhawks and the Black Cloud plays. That's good for their scoring. No, we don't want to do that. No. Yeah. Stay away from that game.
Dead. Deader than dead. Ottawa did score 2-1.
George is going to be mad because the Islanders are getting waxed tonight.
Wow. Down 3-0. George Kurtz coming up next.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
this
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
They're always going to be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live. PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time, right here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got hockey, a little monster hockey day, as generally Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays are in the NHL. So what better person to bring on board for a couple moments here, our good buddy George Kurtz. What's going on, George? How are you tonight, bud?
Well, certainly doing better than the Islanders are doing, all right? The Islanders, you got to enjoy the Islanders, by the way. They set a franchise record on Sunday, with 10 straight games without allowing a goal in the first period. Hell, they made sure it wasn't going to get to 11 tonight. Let's give up quite a few to the Carolina Hurricanes. Way to go, Isles.
Yeah, it wasn't by design that I was wearing the Carolina stuff. It just happened to be coincidence that we were going to talk about the basketball.
Sure it was. Sure.
North Carolina, and Carolina's playing the Islanders. Completely random and by chance. But, George, the Penguins and the Devils today, two teams that are perceived to be playing for their playoff lives. Any thoughts on that game? I said that game got to be – I was leaning over before. I couldn't believe the Devils were actually a minus favorite and made that number a pick 'em. No idea what to do with that game. Both teams going in the wrong direction.
Well, the problem is someone's got to go the right direction for that last playoff spot, right? I mean, Islanders will be Jersey, Pittsburgh, probably not. Islanders don't seem like they want it here. Now it's Washington, right? They seem to be the team that might squeeze in, but the Capitals' next 6 games are against pretty much the who's who of the Eastern Conference. Good luck there. Philadelphia's beating Toronto tonight. They've been playing like crap of late here. So these, I was going to say bottom feeder teams, but they're not bottom feeders. But these last couple of teams that are battling for that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference, you don't know who to trust on. It's the reason why they're battling for it and not in it, because you don't know who to trust on a game-to-game, week-to-week basis here. I felt like you. I was kind of on the Penguins here, small play here, because they're a team that just had more to play for. The Devils, the goaltending situation. All right, it's Jake Allen, it's this guy, it's that guy. Don't love it here. I did not take the over. Hard to trust either team here. They're both where they are for a reason. They've been poor all season and very inconsistent here. I had a small play on the Penguins. Maybe a comeback is in order.
All right, a lot of great games tonight, George. Maybe the best one, maybe. There's a number of them. But how about Winnipeg leading the Rangers 3-1? They're closing out the second period. You can get the hometown Rangers plus 630. Is that worth a nibble?
Ooh. I thought about it right before we came on here. Peg made it 2-1. I thought about it. It might be a good time to get in on the Rangers. 3-1, probably not. Peg is a good team. We're not talking about a poor team. They're one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Hellebuck is your likely Vezina Trophy winner as the top goalie. Now that Thatcher Demko has been out, he was probably going to win it with Demko anyway. But now it's almost a foregone conclusion here. Peg's too good a team. I don't think they're going to give up this lead. Although you can make an argument that the story of the NHL season has been teams giving up leads. 2-goal leads, 3-goal leads. We've seen them evaporate quite often this season. I think Peg protects this one. I would not go on the Rangers. Not a 3-1.
Coming up bottom of the hour, Edmonton laying a gigantic number at home against Montreal. And I don't know about trusting anybody laying 375. I looked at and they get bigger as the night goes on. This isn't the highest line of the day. But got any reason to look at the dog in this one, George?
Listen, Montreal's not a terrible team. They're not. They're not a god-awful team. You can't touch them. I think they can give Edmonton a game. Listen, we don't know. Skinner can lay an egg from time to time. It happens. We've seen it over and over again with him. So I guess I could make an argument. I don't know if I can convince anybody to do this here. Listen, you know me. I'm Captain Chalk here, so I'm on Edmonton. That being said, I have it in a parlay though. You know what do I keep saying? I keep playing the Everton parlay. The Oilers to win, Zach Hyman to score a goal. That's plus 130. It's worked out for me, quite often. You don't want to go with Zach Hyman. Go with Leon Draisaitl. You'll get a better number here. You take out Zach Hyman, you put in Draisaitl. I think you're going to get here. How about plus 137? So if you'd rather have him. You can put Connor McDavid in. You'll get a very similar number here, maybe plus 133, 134 there. So those are my 3 favorite choices here. I probably wouldn't do McDavid, by the way. He's been more of an assist guy than a goal scorer this season. But Zach Hyman's my choice. Zach Hyman, anytime goal scorer, and the Edmonton Oilers to win. And maybe you want to take it on the puck line, minus a goal and a half, and do the same thing with the Hyman goal. You'll get even a much better price than that. I can be convinced into doing that as well.
Well, it is amazing how much they dropped that line from 385 to minus 150. Over a 200-point drop by having to win by just 2 goals, which you would think would happen all the time, but it really doesn't. How about Buffalo? Looking for live dogs. So almost plus 170 at Vancouver. They're only 5 out of the final playoff spot in the East. Every time you write that team off for dead, they have a little streak like they're in right now, winning 4 of their last 5.
Once again, because no one's taking advantage of it. All right, Detroit had just on a massive losing streak. Right at left, I checked, they were tied with Columbus tonight. That everybody that's battling for that final wildcard spot is just, you can't trust them. My other problem with Buffalo is going to be, well, they played last night. They beat up Seattle 5-2 was the final last night. Can we trust them on back-to-back nights, Joey? That's a worrisome spot for me, especially against a rested, very good Vancouver Canucks team. As long as Vancouver has nothing to play for, they got to make sure they win that division over the Edmonton Oilers there. So I'm going to have a tough time. I guess trusting the Sabres on back-to-back nights. I mean, they're not that great a team. Now you want me to bet them on back-to-back nights again? They haven't announced a starting goalie tonight, the Sabres. We assumed it was going to be Devon Leary because generally teams don't start their starting goaltender in back-to-back games. But the fact that they haven't announced yet, we're 8:47 Eastern, maybe Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen goes again here tonight. I think, if anything, guys, I kind of like the over in this game.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I think we lost Dave's microphone. Yep. All right. So,
Whoops,
Dave,
no,
we'll
I'm
get
good.
back
Sorry
to you
about that. Sorry about that. I'm in. I'm back. No, I like to do the Wetzel thing with the games like this. Take the team in regulation. That might be the move in that game. How about this? I just got sent a text was bothering the mic. The game tonight in Vegas, George. This is a hell of a hockey game. Lightning, Knights. This is one of those ones. I'm looking for every reason to take the dog. I want to take the Lightning. 6-3-1 in their last 10. I think I like the over. Convince me otherwise. No good.
I don't know if I like the over. You could certainly convince me on the Lightning here. I'm starting to wonder, Dave, are they the team that, okay, it's playoff time, light switch on? They're playing, you mentioned 6-3-1 the last time, they're starting to play better. Did they coast through the first 5 months of the season here? Yeah, okay, we don't care about finishing first, second, third. Just get us in the playoffs, and we'll play who we got to play here, which is likely going to be Florida or the Rangers/Carolina in the first round there. So we'll see. But I'm on the Lightning as well tonight, plus money on the Lightning. And Vegas says, once again, they're not playing very well. Really, since the Stone injury, they've been more down than up. They're not scoring a lot of goals, which is one of my problems with taking the over here. I think if you want the over, we might need the Lightning to do the lion's share of that over to get to a what are we hoping for? 4-3? I don't know if it's going to be the 4-3. I think we might be looking for 5-2. So I'm on I think maybe Vegas with the Lightning than the over.
I'm looking at the Chicago Blackhawks, and I know Dave says stay away, but I can't. I'm like Al Pacino. They just pull me back in, George. I got to keep on betting against this team. Their team total is 1.5.
George, stop him.
It's minus 190 to the over, plus 145 to the under. They were just shut out 5-0 at home. I don't know. Are they going to score 2 goals against the LA Kings? Let's
George,
grab the under
no.
1.5 even, no?
It's Kieran Talbot's in goal tonight for the Kings here. Now you know how I'm going to play this. Right? This is a parlay for me. I don't care how much the goals the Blackhawks score. I mean, they've been playing a little better of late. And by the way, that doesn't take much. They've been a bad team all season long here. Talbot's been, up, down. Now he's up. The Kings play better on the road than they do at home. It's just a bad Blackhawks team. I'm going to take the Kings and the Minnesota Wild as my parlay tonight. And I'm thinking about throwing Edmonton in here to a 3-team parlay. That could be plus 132 to get all 3. I don't think plus 132 for 3-team parlay is enough for me to do that. So I'll probably take the Oilers out of it and just take the minus 119 with Minnesota over Anaheim and the Kings over Chicago.
George, are you a morning person? Are you up early in the morning?
I will be tomorrow. I am up early in the morning because I got to get my kids off to school. Right, my wife works night; she doesn't get home until about 9 a.m. So I do have to get up early, but I'll go back to bed as soon as my wife's ready to go. I work till like 2-3 a.m. Eastern.
And stay up because you know what starts at 3 a.m. Pacific. We got Dodgers, Padres, baseball is back. All the old guys that like baseball, like us on the network, we got something to talk about. I'm going to be up watching it myself. I'm going to finish the show, take a nap, get up, and watch the Dodgers play the Padres. Any thoughts on these games over there? Are you going to be interested? Are you partaking in the action? What do you think, George?
Of course I'm interested, okay? I said I'll be up. I get up at 6 a.m. for my daughter anyway, so I'll be up till the game ends here around 9 Eastern. It's go to bed like I normally would. So it's actually a kind of good timing for me here. Listen, I think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball here. Whether they win the World Series or not, we'll see. They're always one of the best teams in baseball. They win 100-plus games easy every year anyway. So I don't know what changes this year because they added Ohtani and Yamamoto. We'll see here. Tomorrow is Glasnow, who's looked fantastic. Absolutely fantastic in the spring so far against Darvish and the Padres here. Minus 188, which, by the way, might be one of the best prices we're going to get. For a Dodge. I think it's going to keep getting higher here. I'm going to go with the run line, though. It's minus 113. I'll take the minus run and a half. Does Ohtani hit a home run? And I think last I checked,
on the first day, George. On the first day,
he's got a knack for it. Plus 280? Plus 280. He hits a home run.
Really?
I'm going to bet that. Listen.
All right.
I think his over by the market's 39.5 home runs this year. I think he crushes that. I think he crushes his season total over for home runs.
He's hurt.
Wow. I got a feeling he's going to pitch this year, too. Here's the question I have for both of you guys. Right? In the summertime, Dodgers win total, 105.5. Well, not summertime, wintertime. Get my years right. All right. In December, 105.5. In January, February, 104.5. It went even lower. Today, I'm looking on FanDuel, 103.5. Here's a team that has averaged about 105 wins literally over the last 5 seasons. Why is that number, George, going down, not up?
I don't know. I'm on the over. I have a big play on the over here. You said it, Scotty. They won 100 games last year with a broken rotation. I think Sharapan got a phone call see if he could pitch for the Dodgers. Everybody and their mother got hurt for the Dodgers last year, and they still won 100 games. All right, now I'm a little annoyed. San Fran adds Snell, makes him a little bit better. Maybe he steals a win here or there from the Dodgers this season. San Diego adds C, same thing. So all the players keep going to the National League West here. But I can't see how the Dodgers don't get this because what are you going to tell me? Well, there could be injuries. There were injuries last year. They had no problem with this. You need to take away probably, 3 top players? 3 top players to be scared with the Dodgers.
Yep.
They lost a whole bunch last year. 1 player going down, Glasnow getting hurt, doesn't scare me. Even Ohtani getting hurt, doesn't scare me. Take away Glasnow, Ohtani, and maybe a Freeman. Okay, now I worry a little bit.
You're not scared of anything, George. But that number went down because you had to find the top as a book. You have to find the number that they're going to bet under. They found it, Wetzel. Didn't even scare George away.
Why, though? Why? Thanks, George. We'll talk to you next week.
Anytime, boys.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Truman's going to have That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in. This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time. Wrapping up hour number one. Thanks again to George Kurtz for joining us, talking a little hockey with him. We'll continue to check out the NHL, NBA, college basketball. We got our first team advancing, sort of, in the NCAA tournament. We'll get to that in a second. First up, time for our Black Cloud play of the day. We're going to cheat on this one just a tad as we got our lines crossed up as far as the start time. But we're going to use the NHL Nashville versus one of our favorite whipping boys, the San Jose Sharks, who just tied it up, so we're really not cheating. So Nashville, a monster favorite tonight at minus 350, 360. Yeah. It's 1-1 as they play after one period. So we're starting basically from scratch. Here are the numbers. There's no way in the world Nashville's winning this hockey game, right? I mean, there's just no way. Why do I say that? One, they suck. All right. Two, Predators are the hottest team in the National Hockey League. The Nashville stinking Predators. They're 12-2, folks. Their last 14 games with 11 of the 12 wins coming by 2 goals or more. Now they're playing the worst hockey team this side of Chicago, which, oh, by the way, is playing its worst hockey of the season, which for Nashville, or for San Jose, rather, is a heck of a lot, right? They're 1-13 their last 14 games is San Jose. They're 0-2 versus the Predators this year, being outscored 9-3. They don't got a shot in the world. Lay the goal and a half and the odds minus 150, Dave, and you're going to cash your ticket. There's no way the Black Cloud can lose this one. No freaking way.
I put the hood up. I'm ready for the storm clouds. I've seen this happen before. I mean, it's just, I'm looking around going, how do we get this one? We were worried it was cheating, and just on cue, the Sharks score right before the end of the first period. It was 1-0 Predators 2 minutes in, and now it's 1-1, and we got a sweat. The sweat is on the rest of the show. Black Cloud.
It's going to be a winner, though. It's going to be a winner. All right, more coming up.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome in Game Live, Prime Time, hour number 2. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, until 10 p.m. Eastern Time as we watch the NBA, little NCAA. We got play-in games. We got NIT games, hockey games to get to. And we'll be joined by the coach in about 20 minutes as we'll go over the NBA and college basketball with him. So my partner in crime, yes, Mr. Sharapan. We got our second play-in game, Dave, starting here in about 10 minutes or so. Yep. First one, Wagner knocks off Howard, 71-68. Howard down double digits most of the way. Made a nice little run, cut it to 1. But Wagner, which somehow or another finished near the bottom of the NEC conference, the Northeastern Conference, here in New York, and they beat the third-place team, they beat the second-place team, and then they beat the best team, believe it or not, to get the automatic bid. They win the play-in game, and now they face your boys, North Carolina, hence the uniform you're wearing tonight.
Yeah, multiple reasons for wearing North Carolina stuff. I had to go on with K-Dub. He said he was on an island because not many people like North Carolina to win it all. I said, no, that's crazy. There's a lot of people out here that like them. They're out west. It'll be fun to see them go this route. 2 games in Charlotte, 2 games in L.A., see you in Phoenix. That's how we get there. I like it. Game number 2 tonight, this play-in game, I told you earlier, Colorado State talked to the assistant coach, Ali Farouk Marnesh. Got me so fired up. Foster, I told you, right now means everything. He's saying RNME. That's right now, tonight. They're going to win. I got the Rams. Let's go Rams. I'm all about the Rams. Ramses on my hat. Ramses on my chest over here. Rams. Let's go. Let's go.
Now, you should have told him you worked, I don't know, maybe you did, that you work in TV, but, Coach, I don't have any Colorado State stuff, I'm just telling you. I got some Virginia stuff, though, You got to, push the envelope there when he says, well, sorry, I got some Virginia stuff, I'm on TV. All over the country.
It was the first time we got him on the show today. If they win, we'll ask him the second time. You can't hit him with the request for the gear on the first call. On a first-time interview. But you know what you can hit them with? What you did with me today with Houston Rockets to make the play-in game. Have you checked the score, Wetzel? I don't need to put the hood up for the Black Cloud play of the night. Let's go. The Rockets are rolling. I mean, we don't even have to worry about this thing. There's 6 minutes left, and the Rockets got this one in hand. Let's move on to the next. We'll get Patrick will tell us when that game goes final because we're the only people interested in it. There's gold everywhere on this board. I tell people all the time, just because the game's bad doesn't mean there's not a betting opportunity. We talked about it earlier with Orlando and Charlotte. You check in with that score, Orlando 102, 75 for Charlotte. They're covering that 35, big number. They may stay within that number.
Does look like they're going to cover that 35, It does look like that. So, but the Magic are going to be, unless they really screw up here, 19-4 against the spread. Their last 23 at home. I mean, the Orlando Magic. I mean, who would picture them as being that good? Especially at home. I mean, they're great overall, but obviously at home. I mean, you wouldn't envision Orlando having this great home court advantage, but. I don't know. Is that a team? We got Orlando in the East and New Orleans in the West. 2 teams just, no one's talking about them. I mean, I don't really think the Magic could beat the Celtics, but someone's coming in my studio.
Invite them on the show.
Don't mind me.
Ask them who they like.
That's okay.
See if they like.
So those are 2 teams. Those are 2 teams that no one's talking about. Can we take either one seriously?
I think so, but I mean, we got to be careful. We upset the Celtics fans. I mean, you're a Celtic fan. I mean, Orlando. Can we take them seriously in the next round? Maybe they'll win a round. Listen, that's a serious home record. There's no joking around. I mean, people listening to you, BVB, Opposite Picks podcast. I mean, they're maybe the only ones that know because we're the only ones talking about it. I don't feel like this is one of those things that somebody's going to go, wait a second. How did Orlando win all these games at home and we don't know about this? So, I don't know. It's early. We'll after the first 2 weeks of March Madness, we'll have a much better feel for who can we take seriously in the NBA in the bottom four of, the standings. I'm not buying the Pelicans myself. I don't see it. I don't think they're going to win one series at best. I'm not taking them to win it all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I can't buy into them. Let Zion prove on something in the postseason. He's a Twinkie injury waiting to happen. So they are leading tonight in Brooklyn, 78-62, laying 14.5.
Yeah.
Put a fork in the Nets, right? They're as good as done. Dallas winning at San Antonio.
Yep.
You kind of hope maybe the Spurs would be leading there, right? You get yourself like Dallas. But Dallas is actually playing its best ball all season. They covered 6 in a row, Dave. I mean, again, not ready to buy into them and Kyrie, but at least they're finally playing good ball. It's taken them all season long, but they are.
Did you see the left-hand game winner from Kyrie? That was a pretty nice shot.
I did.
That was fun. That was fun. He put it up there, little floater. I love those shots. I think they're gelling at the right time. I think we got to start talking about Dallas being that team that they can, get on Luka's shoulders and say, all right, get us through that one round that we need you to, because the rest of us will help you when you don't do it. There might be a little belief being built in Dallas.
Let me go back to something as we close out this first segment here. Last hour we talked about with the Dodgers. Explain to me why, the Dodgers, who everyone thinks is the greatest team since sliced bread, and the over-under for their win total is going down.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes.
And it's not going down from 110 to 109. It's going down from a modest 105 to 104 to now 103.5. How's that possible if everyone thinks they're so great?
There's certain people that bet these things under no matter what. You have to, as the book, you have to find the top because 90% of the bets are coming on over on that. So we got to see where, as the book, we can put a number and get everybody to keep betting over. But we need one or two people, a bad guy, a razor blade, like I like to call them because they're sharp. They got to come in and tell us, all right, we'll bet you under. We'll take some of that. And 105.5, that's one of the highest numbers preseason in Major League Baseball that I've ever seen in 25 years of doing the job, being an odds maker. It's really hard to set a number.
Their win totals, Dave, their win totals last year was 100, right? Everything that could have gone wrong pitching-wise, and they still won 100 games. They won 111 before that, 106, and then 106.
Right.
How are they only going to win 104? Or 103, for that matter.
Injuries. Maybe.
We got to figure out, we got to bet on the Dodgers every single game to win or lose. We have to figure that out.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need
Because
to
Penn
find a
State's
way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But
Right.
if we make them a third,
They get in.
This
is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to
rule.
be better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that lightning in a bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
The team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame live, PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, Primetime. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan right here on the grid. So we do have baseball starting, 6 o'clock in the morning, I think it is. So we got to figure this stuff out, Dave. And we got about 48 minutes. Are we betting, for our show's purposes and for our wallets, are we betting the LA Dodgers every game to win? Or are we betting the LA Dodgers every game to lose?
Wow.
Which one's going to build us a profit?
Man, oh man! I mean, you did this math a little while ago.
I still got it in front of me.
Yeah, they have to win how many games? 97 or 98 games at an average price of minus 180 for us to actually make money. You said, right?
Right. If they go 103, like their total now is 103.5, right? So if they go 103 and 59. Okay. I did it as the minus 170 as the average. You'd win $270. So 103 is which is kind of funny, that it turned out to be 103.5. 103 is the barrier.
Right.
If it's on average minus 170.
Well, I mean,
I will say this. If you bet them to lose, they would have to go in order for you to win money at plus 150, old school, we use a 20-point vig here, they would have to go 95 and 67 for you to actually win money. I don't think they're doing that.
Or worse, 95.
Or worse.
Like if they win more than 95, we don't win, right?
Right. 95 is the cutoff. 95, 96, is the cutoff of basically breaking even if you bet them to lose every game.
Yeah.
Versus 103 to be the cutoff if you bet them to win every game.
So I had a writer, friend of mine, who was writing tickets next to me out at the M Resort in the book, and I nicknamed him Brooklyn Joe. I love this man dearly. He actually ran Madison Square Garden before he moved out west. He was a great guy. He did this against the Phillies every day. The year the Phillies won 102 games. Was the longest summer of his life, Wetzel. Picking the team, like when you're going to lose 2/3 of the bets every day. You go to the book and go, give me the Pirates, give me the Brewers, give me the teams against the good team. Like, do you know how many times you're going to have to bet the Rockies? Do you know how many times you're going to have to bet the Giants? You're going to have to pick all of the bad teams in the division. Like, okay, give me the Diamondbacks. I'm like, well, what are we doing? Hoping we go, of the 13 games, we win 5 and 8 with the Diamondbacks. Lucky. I don't think betting against them is going to be a very enjoyable summer. I like baseball season. I don't want to do that. I don't think that's very fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot harder. A lot easier to bet with them, And if you bet with them, then that means you could also bet them in all your goofy parlays and all the other things. Whereas if you bet against them, you're eliminating them completely. You can't, you don't want to bet against yourself, right? But I will tell you, tomorrow morning, they're minus 188. They're almost 2-1 favorites on the road, neutral site. Although maybe more fans will be rooting for the Dodgers versus the Padres, but it's technically neutral site game, and they're already almost 2-1 favorite. They're going to see some. What's the biggest number you think we'll see with the Dodgers straight money line this year?
Oh, I remember putting up a number with Justin Verlander with the Astros, minus 550 in a baseball game. We're going to see minus $5 against the Rockies in one of these games at Dodger Stadium. If Glasnow is as advertised, if Yamamoto is even close to as advertised, there's going to be a game or two where we're going to see multiple times minus 400. And we're going back to when Pedro was rolling, and you would rarely see him more than minus 400. And I'm telling you, the dogs are live in those situations, plus a run and a half. Those end up being one-run games a lot of times. I don't know. What do you think? You think we'll see a minus 500?
Yeah. We've seen that, right? In hockey, in goofy hockey, we're seeing minus 4 or 5s now. So 550, I'm thinking maybe even 6. You're right. With one of those aces that's pitching well against the Rockies at home Saturday night. Who's betting the Rocks, right? Nobody. Yeah. I bet it's at least 6-1.
Yeah. There'll be teams like the A's. When they play they play every team.
A's.
Right?
Yeah.
The A's.
Dodgers win 5-6 in a row. They're playing well.
Yeah. It's going to be ugly. That's a skill shot.
You may have to lay.
You
may have to lay 3.5 runs, Dave, in order to get that game down to even. Right? Forget about 2.5 and 1.5.
That's crazy talk. Don't start that. Don't start that. For the consultant role, if you guys are going to reach out to the S&W Corporation, we're not advocating laying 3.5 runs on a baseball game. Maybe in-game if it's already 4-1 or something, but pre-game laying 3.5, if the total's 7.5 or 8, you can't do that. Come on, we're not putting that up. Not at our joint.
Still waiting for them to give totals for months, monthly totals for overrun. Because even at 103.5, and I think they're going to win 104 games, I'm not going to put my money down, here in March and not be able to collect until, literally October. It's just, it's not worth it for me.
You know what they started doing here at a couple of joints? I got a text about we're starting to do this. Can you tell people about it? Like the circuit here, they do team to have the best record per month. You go through the schedule and make odds on every team, like who's going to win the most games in April, who's going to win the most games in May. And, you could take a shot on a team getting hot on a nice little homestand, 10-game homestand, and a couple short road trips against bad teams. Such a fun bet. I was like, now we're talking. Let's keeps you in action all month long. They start the month. Last year, my buddy, his name's Dave Ross. He's a huge Mets fan. In July, he looked at it with the All-Star break. He said the Mets can actually start off the month really good, and that can be live. Started off 6-0. They swept. I think it was the longest streak of the season for the Mets in the beginning of July. He was walking around going, I'm cashing this 35-1. They lost the last 6 games in a month. It was terrible. Yeah, I felt bad for him, but I really didn't because he's a Mets fan. That's a fun bet. That would get you interested.
Great bet.
Your Austin Matthews bet had me interested every single game in February, checking to see if he scored a goal. This McKinnon thing got me with the home games. I'm checking to see if McKinnon gets a point every home game. They're fun bets.
How about this? Speaking of fun bets, which I don't see on FanDuel, but I'm going to give them a pass because I'm here in New York, and New York's got all kind of goofy rules, right? So we're kind of limited on what they offer here in New York. But the other sites that I've looked at, like offshore books, I can't find, and I love these bets, Dave, NCAA tournament-like conferences. The ACC is going to get 6 wins. They're 6.5 over under on conference win. I love those play. Or the total of the seeds that reach the Final Four over under. Pick a number 15.5. I don't see any of that stuff on FanDuel or even an offshore book that I look at all the time.
Yeah, I'll have those ready for you tomorrow. We'll take a look, and
Okay.
I'll get you a couple numbers to compare and contrast. We used to make that number with the seeds. That's a fun bet.
Great.
Because you got
I love that bet.
You got to map out. Yeah, that number. That's funny because Matt and I talked about it on Bostonian versus the book, and he wanted to make single digits. He said that was like 8.5, and I was like, come on, that's got to be higher than that. It's got to be 14.5, somewhere in that neighborhood, 13.5. They're not all one seeds are getting there. Not this year. It's not happening. I don't think so. I got bad news. I just looked down.
Don't tell me Houston lost.
San Jose Sharks are up 2-1.
Ugh.
Coach, coming up.
I'm done. It's too good.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have it. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
This is
the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to
Penn
find
State's
a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But
Right.
if we make them a third,
They get in.
This
is the Penn
always
State
going to be
rule.
better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if you're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time, right here on the grid. 25 past the hour. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. So we talked a little hockey, talked a little baseball with the baseball season starting, believe it or not, tomorrow morning. How about the little NCAA, little NBAs? We welcome in the coach, James Young, who joined us here on a terrific Tuesday. We got one team in. Well, kind of with the play-in game. Coach, give me your impressions on that before we get to the Virginia and Colorado State game.
You know what? Shout out to Coach Copeland getting it done. I thought that I had taken Howard minus the points. I thought that Howard was the better team, but this Wagner team, what a great job by them. Listen, folks, you can say whatever you want. It counts. It absolutely counts. Like, this counts as a tournament win for Wagner. So shout out to them. You'll see Bashir Martin, the old Wagner coach, who now is at St. Peter's. Remember, St. Peter's coach is now Sheen Holloway, who he got left out. So a couple of Jersey guys getting coaching jobs. Shout out to Wagner getting the job done. And an impressive win. Basically wire to wire, led from pretty much most of the game. Nice win by them.
JY, great to see you. This is a double duty for me and you today because you came in. We talked on BVB after you to Ali Farouk-Manesh today, assistant coach for Colorado State. I'm all about the Rams tonight. It's as much of a play kind of against Virginia, but Ali got me fired up. I got Ramses on my head. I got Ramses right here on my chest. I'm all about the Rams. You got any opinion about the second play-in game today?
Love Colorado State. This team is really good. Both teams are pretty good defensively. Colorado State is better offensively. They're 17th in, I think, field goal percentage offense, and they don't shoot a lot of threes. And if you think about the what they call the pack line defense, just to give our viewers a little bit of an understanding of how it is, Tony Bennett's defense comes from his father, Dick Bennett. And the concept of the defense is you don't deny passes and you keep everything in front of you. And the goal is to make a team shoot contested twos. Well, who loves to shoot contested twos? Colorado State. Colorado State has been battle tested. And you have this antiquated blocker mover offense that Virginia runs. If I had I was on with you earlier, BBB. If I had my dry erase marker, I would show our audience. But basically, it's an offense based on screens and off-ball screens, meaning not pick and roll stuff, but creating your own shot coming off screen. So it's a pattern that you run over and over and over. It's pretty easy to defend. And this team in Virginia, so far 2-0 early in the game, and literally, folks, they're going to get the rebound, and they're not going to shoot the ball. They're not going to get into offense until 18 seconds on the shot clock. So they're going to milk it down within 10 seconds every single possession.
That sounds like an under. Wetzel was trying to make a case for the over on this game.
I mean, guys, it's 2-0 with 17-15 left to go in the first half, and they've taken like 4 shots. Listen, I came on at 9:25. It's in 4 minutes. I think they're taking 4 shots.
It shouldn't be that difficult to score, Coach. I mean, we're not talking about Lou Alcindor and Wilt Chamberlain out there. I mean, we're talking about a bunch of slow white guys for Virginia. I mean, shoot the ball and run up and down the court. I mean, is it harder for a team that wants to run against a slow team, or is it easier for a slow team to keep the running team from running?
It's easier for a slow team to keep a running team from running, Scotty, as long as you're able to get stops. And that's the most important thing. If you're able to get stops, you negate the ability to score. But the other thing is this, is with Virginia, because they don't go out in passing lanes and deny passes, you don't get those times where you can drive the ball to the basket and get a layup or get to the free throw line. You don't get that with Virginia. So to me, under is the play. Right now it's 2-2. And guys, I mean, this is like a snooze fest. I mean, I can't. And here's the thing, guys. when I was at Monmouth, we ran the blocker mover for 3/4 of a year. I swear to you, I was like, I'll take the defense. I'll take the defense. I don't want to teach this. Even I couldn't stand a blocker mover.
It's 113.5 in game right now. I mean, we're already on pace to go. You still want to go under?
Yes. I'm taking it right now. You talking?
All
I'll
right,
put my bet in.
113.
I got to have my head examined betting it over in a Virginia game. I don't know what came over. I must have had a conversation with the wife. My mind is all scrambled or something. I don't know.
Now, that being said, guys, Colorado State, since we've been on air, has missed at least 3 layups so far. So, maybe they're getting it. So what they're doing, folks, is they're going wing ball screen, and they're getting it to the roller, and then they're hitting the second guy, and they're getting stuff on it. But, literally, here's what they do. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. When we come back from the commercial break, I'm going to draw you up the blocker mover offense. There's literally one guy coming up a down screen. They pass it, they dribble up, the guy goes over a flare screen, and it's over and over and over. And then they don't attack the offensive boards. And then you got it's over and over. And I mean,
sounds painful. Sounds painful, JY. That sounds painful.
Did you watch? You know what? How about this? Did you watch them when they played? I think it was Virginia Tech, and they were down 30, and they were still running the damn offense. I was like, y'all know you're down 30, right? You may want to, I don't know, shoot it with 10 seconds on the shot clock instead of
shoot it sooner. Yeah. There's a game coming up in the NIT. UC Irvine. K-Dub loved the Anteaters. He was on UC Irvine. Utah laying 8.5. Tough game, JY. I think it's a little bit too much. But I was looking at it and I said, all right, coach is on later. It's a late start, 8 o'clock Pacific. That'll be everybody's get back. I was hoping you had something here for the people on this game.
Well, UC Irvine had a great year, and obviously they ran into a buzzsaw and not winning their tournament. It's tough. Here's the thing, guys. It's tough to win at Utah. But the crazy thing is, these teams that are not Power 5 teams, these games mean more to them than the Power 5 teams. If you look at it, you get as many upsets in this, you get more upsets in this, you get an NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Teams on the road, because you know what? They're pissed off. They're upset. We should have made the tournament. That's why you see some of these scores that you may get where teams that should be better, like Richmond up 20-13 on Virginia Tech. Now, Richmond's a damn good team, but beating Virginia Tech at Blacksburg, that shouldn't happen. So to me, that's what you'll get. So to me, as much as I want to take Utah at home, I'm going to go against it. I'm going to go UC Irvine plus the points. I think it means more to them, especially them being the best team in their league, and they didn't get to the tournament. There could be a redemption coming.
You know what these games are like, Coach? They're like bowl games in college football. To me, these NIT games and CBI and CIT. It's like who really knows who's motivated to play and who isn't. Fans generally aren't. You get the home court advantage as far as the point spread, but a lot of times these arenas are empty. No one's going to an NIT game. So is that a fair assessment? They're like a college bowl game.
Here's the crazy thing: when you host an NIT game, you have to guarantee a certain amount of tickets sold. So if you've noticed, ready? Villanova is playing at home on campus. Do not go to Wells Fargo because they have to sell a certain amount of tickets. So now they're offering $2 beers, $2 hot dogs, $2 popcorn to entice people to come. I'm trying, through my buddy, the top assistant at Seton Hall, to go to Seton Hall game tomorrow night. They're not playing at the Rock. They're playing at Walsh Gym, which is almost like, you've been to Walsh Gym. It's almost a little bit bigger than a high school gym. Why? They got to guarantee tickets. So that's the thing. Also, do your digging on who wants to play, who really wants to play. In the case of Seton Hall, I can't bet in New Jersey. Shaheen Holloway went to the 5 starters. asked them, do you want to play? They said yes, all 5. That makes you think they're going to take it seriously. So I do like Seton Hall minus St. Joe's tomorrow.
I love that. I love that. You're doing a second segment. We're not letting you leave, just like in A Bronx Tale when we locked the door and they said, now you can't leave. You're staying.
No, you can't
leave. But Wetzel has a great stat that we said we would give person 10 guesses and they might not get it. But you're the basketball guy, and I think you will get it. And if you think about it, you won't get it I think name that tune, name that team in 4 or less, Wetzel. I say Coach gets it on his 5th guess. 4.5's the total. Ask him the question.
Who's the hottest team in the NBA against the spread at home?
Oh my God. I got to think about this.
You do.
It's
you
not
have
who
commercial
you
break to think about it. I think you get this. This is going to be something that's a good tease. We're in the business now, learning how to do this every day. Got great hosts like Wetzel.
I know the best team first half against the spread is the Boston Celtics. I know that.
Yes.
Well,
that is true. Celtics, yes. We're talking for the game.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State
rule. Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live. PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Yes, welcome back In-Game Live, primetime right here on the grid, talking some NBA and some college basketball with the coach. But before we get back to him, Mr. Sharapan, have you not seen the latest San Jose Sharks Nashville Predators score?
I'm afraid to check it. No, the less we talk about it, usually the better the result. Is it improved?
It's actually improved. They have not only scored once to tie the god-awful Sharks, they have taken a 3-2 lead.
Done talking about it. Done the rest of the show. We're done talking about it.
We're done. We're done talking about that game. Done. We could bail, but I don't want to bail. I'm not hedging. We're only up one, so we really can't actually. So we're laying two goals. We're laying a goal and a half.
So in the second period, we're good. Relax.
I know.
I know.
Plenty of time. Got it in the bag. Got it in the bag. So, a couple of interesting games here. You know, I did like Minnesota against Butler, and they're actually leading Butler 26-25. And we're starting to get some points in this goofy Virginia game. So, it's, 14-12 now. So, it's in fact, now it's 18-12. Oh, look at this. Love the over in this game. Loved it. Over 123.5 now is the number. How about that? As the
big scoring burst.
Yeah. Couple threes?
Big
what do we get?
Scoring burst. Right? Yeah.
There you go.
Here we go.
Let's see if we can convince the coach now. All right. Back to our pop quiz at the NBA, coach. You had it. You know, be honest. You had it in the break, but it took you two guesses on who has the best, recently, within the last 2 months, I'll say, against the spread record in the NBA.
Yeah, my first guess was Houston. My second guess was Cam Stewart's favorite team. Oh, it's Magic, the Orlando Magic. Here's why, folks. They've been very good at home all year, but also early in the year, folks, they were underdogs a lot at home, and they were winning outright. They beat Miami at home. I remember one time. They beat, I think, beat Milwaukee by like 20-something. They beat the Knicks twice at home. So this team is really going to get the spread at home. We'll see what they do in the playoffs, but they're fighting for seeding, and their home record, particularly against the spread, has been very, very good.
19-4 after tonight's win and cover, Dave. 19-4 against the spread. I mean, that's no matter who it is, that's impressive.
JY, can we take them serious in the playoffs? Like, can Orlando?
No.
But that was fast. That was it? No?
Yeah, that was fast.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay. All right.
Next question.
That's good.
No. They listen, if you really look at it, folks, and you just go through, and I'll just pull up the NBA standings as we speak right now. Right now, Orlando. And here's the thing, folks. This 4 through 8 between New York, Orlando, Philly, Indiana, Miami. They're separated by 4 games. Now, don't sleep on Cleveland now because they're worried about Donovan Mitchell being out for another week. That may bring them down. But to me, you want to be in that top 6. Now, Orlando, because they're 3-1 against New York, the Magic fans want the Knicks. They think they can win that matchup. They're not winning that matchup. Because New York will grind them down in the playoffs. But to me, if I'm them, I want 6. Because if I want a team that I think is a major fraud, I still can't buy Cleveland. I don't think the Garland-Mitchell backcourt works. And more importantly, I don't think the Jared Allen, Evan Mobley 4-5 combo works because neither one of them can step outside.
Wow.
What do you think the prospects are, Coach? Found a nice little bet on FanDuel. Houston Rockets to make the play-in game. It was 16-1 when I put it in. It's down to 12-1, but they won again tonight. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 8 of their last 9. Dave pointed out earlier they got a ridiculously easy next 3 games. I think Portland's on there. 2 other scrub teams are on there. So they got a chance to keep this thing rolling. The only caveat is that they lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with the Lakers and Golden State. So they're 3 back in the loss column with 15 left. Can they overtake one of those 2 teams?
Here's my only concern, Scotty, is after you said they have 3 relatively easy games. They have the 11th. They have the 11th hardest strength of schedule the rest of the way. So that means once they play those 3 games, they're probably going into the top 5. The Lakers right now have the 20th easiest schedule. And then the other team you said was Golden State. Golden State, right. The 3rd easiest schedule down the stretch. Golden State, ready? Minnesota, New Orleans, Orlando, Dallas twice, Indiana, Miami. But here you go. San Antonio once, Charlotte once, Portland once, Memphis once, Jazz, who were just tanking twice, and the Rockets once. That's your problem.
See, that Rockets one is not bad. I mean, if you're a Houston fan, you want to face them, right? This way you could, gain a game on them. I don't think it's going to be Golden State. I think it's the Lakers.
The interesting thing is this, is like if you look at Houston's schedule, right? OKC, playing for a 1 seed. Minnesota, playing for a 1 seed. Clippers, you never know with them. They're so flaky. Orlando, depends where the game's at. 2 against Dallas, 1 against Miami. But here's where it's key with Houston. 2 Portland, 1 Chicago, 3 versus Utah. That's the key.
Not bad.
You got to win the one. I think that's something that could be doable. Whereas the Lakers, yes, their bad matchups are, the only game that they really going to play against a team that may be trying to play for something are the Nets. And the Nets suck right now. I mean, if you take the Nets, just do me a favor, don't even put the bet in. Just give me your money. I'll take it from you. Gladly take it from you. Because they're just awful. I mean, I did a 3-team parlay tonight. And my parlay was the Pelicans, CJ McCollum over 3.5 assists, and Jonas Valanciunas double-double. And the reason why I'm going to lose is because the Nets are so bad, the game's over. And Jonas Valanciunas played like 15 minutes because the game was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're terrible. And here's the thing. By the way, Sean Marks, what the hell have you done? Like, you must have he must have pictures of Joseph Tsai.
He must.
Really? Oh, my.
He must. I mean, just having that dopey Ben Simmons contract for another year, you think we get him fired? Go ahead, Dave.
I mean,
JY, you got the clipboard out. You got the marker. It's 18-12. Colorado State and Virginia. It's locked in at, I got 123.5 here at my book. Is it time? Like Wetzel's on over 120.5. This offense, you talked about paint drying. You talked about it like it's the Hoosiers offense. We run into picket fence, repeated screens. Sounds like I want to take a nap. What does this look like on the board?
All right, here we go, folks. Let me see if I get this. This is what's called the blocker mover offense. Here's the guard with the point, with the ball. Here's your guard. Here's your guard. Here's what they do. They set a down screen. Here comes the guard. They pass. As it's happening, this guard's cutting. This guy dribbles up. Here's the flare screen. They throw it, and then it just repeats and repeats and repeats. Here's the thing. There is no ball screen. There's also no driving lanes. So they are all dependent on the fact that they have to get their guys to create shots off of screens. That's being said, ready, folks? Let's talk about Virginia, right? Let's pull up their stats. This is a team that can't score, right?
No.
They shoot
not at all.
As a team. Ready? 63.7% from the free throw line. So when they get to when they get to the free throw line, they can't even make it. So this is a crazy thing. So you know what, folks? I'm gonna put the clipboard down for a second. Hey, this is all you need to know of Virginia. Okay? Listen, I'm gonna just go from the beginning of February. Here are their point totals. 65, good. 60, okay. 80, oh my Lord. 63, wait for it. 49, 41, 44. Then he
Oh,
beat
my.
BC 72-68. BC sucks. 48. 72, 66, 65.
Okay.
They do not score. So to me, here's the crazy thing. You're going to sit there, and if they win tonight, you're going to get people that are going to run to the window and say, oh, they're going to beat Texas.
Yeah, right.
Give me your money. Give me all your money. I'm beating no damn Texas with that offense, running the clock down. Oh, my God. And here's the thing. That offense, they don't start it until 20 seconds. You only got to defend 2 actions, and then they're shooting the ball.
That's outstanding. That was an outstanding breakdown. Thank you for breaking out the board and getting the marker during the break. Do you like Disney movies? Do you like Cinderella? I mean, do you have any thoughts on March? Dreams for that slipper winning this thing, JY?
All right, so I want people to understand this. And this is all you taking this and then cashing it out, especially after 2 games. So maybe a better way to do this is to get to the round of 16. Folks, McNeese State is going to make a run.
What?
They're going to be Gonzaga. I am not, guys, I am not sold on Gonzaga. I'm not sold on it. Will Wade, as much as he is Ric Flair. He is the dirtiest player in the game, or at least he's the guy that got caught. Listen, guys, they're going to win. And then who do they get the winner of? Sanford, Kansas. McCullough was already announced he's not playing in the tournament.
Not playing.
So now he's out. Dickinson. And that's a shoulder. He gets hit in the wrong spot, that thing pops out. He's out. Did you see them lose by like 9,000 points to Cincinnati in the Big 12 tournament? They're an NIT team. Ready? If you don't want to go crazy, FanDuel right now, McNeese State to make the Sweet 16 plus 570.
Can they actually do it? And so we can all make fun of Purdue and Tennessee, Rick Barnes not getting to the Final Four. Can we push them that far? So that's what I want to do.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you right now. And I'll give you, there's other teams. Here's my Final Four real quick. UConn, Houston, I'm going to believe in them. Purdue, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. And Baylor. What? Guys, yes, I believe in Baylor. You want another team that can make it to the Sweet 16? Folks?
Please.
Oh, ready?
Yeah.
Plus 490. Grand Canyon. They got studs.
The Lopes.
You don't go with the WCC.
The Cantaloupes.
They're going to take out St. Mary's. Let's go, Loops.
The WAC hasn't won a game in about 20 years. Not since UTEP, in the Bear was coaching. Coach, good job, my friend. Good luck with the McNeese State.
See you, JY.
SportsGrid's going to have you covered for this NCAA tournament.
That's the movie that we know. When it's win or go home, they love to go home.
Tennessee's now in my phony club. They should all get together and drink green tea.
Furman's going to have a chance. That is a team I'm betting on right now.
We are feeling this. You are feeling this at home. The excitement and the atmosphere.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But
Great.
if we make them a third,
They get in.
Third,
This is
they're
the Penn
always
State
going to be
rule.
better than the West half.
Yep.
And that 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I bought into Tennessee with their veteran team. I really did. But that's, out the window. That ship has sailed today.
A team that wins no games in their conference tournament has never gone on to win the national championship. So you can put Tennessee in that boat. You can put Duke in that boat from last night. You can put Creighton in that boat from last night. They all lost their first conference tournament game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the
All
rim.
I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. In-game live prime time here on a terrific Tuesday. Start of the NCAA tournament, getting some points, and we're getting Colorado State. That's looking good. And just as a reminder, Dave, we have our 3-team, 3-league parlay.
Yes.
We have the straight one, and we got the Black Cloud one. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. With the lines that came out and the seedings that came out, not that we can, but is there any team that we say, oops, you know what, we probably shouldn't have done that? Or are you content with the, like I said, we can't change it anyway, but are you okay with the picks that we have?
They did the graphic and everything. They have it right there. I mean, we can't change anything now. Yeah, that's the birth of the whole thing right there. I mean, it was a nice run during football season, but we officially have a graphic. And all we got to do is get one of these men's ones in a college tournament, and we're going to have one hell of a spring. If we hit one of these, look out, because these payouts were, what did you say these average payouts were? 350 to 1, 400 to 1?
Yeah, 400, 500 to 1.
Yeah. Oh!
I'll leave you with this, Dave. I'll leave you with this. Remember, because I know all top management here is just begging me all the time to bring up my referee stories, right? So remember the girl referee that I told you about that really couldn't spell NBA if you spotted her the A and the N and the A? She got kicked out of the local PAL league. The PAL. She tried to call a technical foul on a coach after the game ended, which technically you can do. We're talking about a second-grade girls' game.
No way. No way. Come on. You can't even make this up. You can't even make this up.
They had the fans in the stands coming on the court. They wanted to beat the poor girl up. She's 17 years old. Yeah. It's the
second grade.
Thing. I mean, it's sad.
Tried to tee up
she's calling technical fouls. Second grade.
What the hell's going on? We get to do this again tomorrow. See you later.
Yes.